Hello, I am Eduardo Choa, President of California State University at Monterey Bay. It is my pleasure to welcome friends, families, supporters, faculty, staff, and graduates to this ceremony. Each of you has impacted the CSUMB graduates we celebrate today. We thank you for recognizing their achievements. CSUMB's founding vision calls for developing a community where we all learn and teach one another in an atmosphere of mutual respect and inclusive excellence. At CSUMB, we have watched these graduates demonstrate this learning, teaching, and mutual respect through work with faculty inside and beyond the classroom, with service learning in our communities, and with staff throughout various endeavors. CSUMB's graduates cultivate a path of being independent thinkers with the ability to innovate through curious and persistent inquiry. A CSUMB degree is a testament to that work and initiative. Graduates, whether you are the first in your family to attend college or part of a lineage of higher education, your achievement is your own. Never forget to dream big and bold and boundless. As Nelson Mandela said, when you let your light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we celebrate your accomplishments at CSUMB, we look forward to the bright futures for each of you and for the positive impacts you will have in our communities. We look forward to your personal achievements and your ability to continue your work as valued leaders in our global society. Congratulations.
Happy graduation, class of 2021 at Cal State Monterey Bay. I'm so happy that I get to share some words with all of the Asian Pacific Islander graduates today. There's so much to be said about how much my heart swells when I think of the class of 2021, when I think of all of you. Students have always been my lighthouse in my life, my beacon by which I am guided by, because who I am is because of the growth I did as a first-generation queer, indigenous, Samoan student of color in college. College is where I wrote my first poem in my dorm room during my first year. It was where I got involved in the Asian Pacific Islander Student Alliance and met my lifelong friends. It's also where I realized my passion for social justice, educational attainment, and using poetry and art as a vehicle towards our collective liberation. As a former student activist and as someone who spends a majority of my year on tour, being in community with different colleges and universities, my grief around what you all have lost out on this year is tied up in yours. It has not been easy to hold so many of you across Zoom conference calls or over social media as your end of the year plans drastically came to a halt. You deserved your ceremony. You deserved to have gathered with your family and have them scream their heads off as you walked across the stage to collect your parents' immigrant sacrifices. You deserve the Monterey heat and ocean breeze on the backs of your necks and on the insides of your graduation robes. You deserved your last group selfies with your friends before venturing on to new chapters after closing this one. You deserved it all and more, because college is a place that never deserved you, but received the gift of you anyways. Universities do not deserve us in all of our first generation, queer, trans, non-binary, undocumented, disabled, Asian Pacific Islander glory. College never stood a chance when you arrived, and why should it? You're the reason they are relevant, the reason for the defeat of your imposter syndrome and the crumbling of white privilege each time you had the audacity to simply exist on campus. You carry with you your ancestors, your histories, your triumphs, your struggles, and an API student of color legacy that every campus has, because every campus has the privilege of having us. But your class of 2021 has a legacy that's all your own, that none of us can say we have. You are the class who survived a global pandemic that is still happening. And you are the class that gets to say they graduated amidst the largest civil rights movement this world has ever seen. The class of 2021 is graduating at a time where white America is being forcefully shaken out of their sleep and demands that they take responsibility for their own people's legacy, because we're busy trying to honor ours. Our people come from the salt of this earth, come from the dirt of the countrysides of all our motherlands. Our legacies are ancestral duties that saw us fit for college so long as we brought the village with us. Our legacies are bound to each other like the root of the California redwoods and as deep as the Pacific between us. Our legacies are not about having the loudest, most impactful, most extravagant, or even most memorable presence on campus. Our legacy as API people and now as API graduates is in remembering that the work was always meant to start at Cal State Monterey Bay, but carry on with you after you leave and for the rest of your life. What I remember most about my time in college had everything to do with the community I found amongst other first-generation students of color. Because to me, community was the reason I not only graduated from college, it was the reason I survived. It's the reason I'm still in community with colleges and universities today through my art and keynotes and workshops, and why I'm able to be with all of you, because I had the honor of taking responsibility for my duties as an alum, not to the college I graduated from, but as an alum to the students, to each and every one of you. The late Toni Morrison, in her remarkable wisdom, once said, I tell my students, when you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else. This is not just a grab bag candy game. Family, the purpose of graduating with your degree is not just so you can celebrate escaping issues, hardships like poverty, academic inequality, or injustice. The purpose of your education and what you do with it is not to escape these things. The purpose moving forward is to end it, is to free somebody else. As you depart into summer 2021 and heed the health warnings around the fact that we're still in a pandemic, as you reckon with what your role is at this moment, as the world is trying to come together in defense of the attacks on our API, Black, Brown, Indigenous communities, you have the responsibility of remembering who you'll be in community with now that your time at Cal State Monterey Bay has come to an end. Those were all stepping stones for you to determine which direction you are headed in at this very juncture in your life. Wherever you go, just know that you never walk alone. The village is always holding you together and walking behind you, even at times where it feels like it's you against the world. Even if at times it feels like the evils of white supremacy, cis heteropatriarchy are trying to swallow us whole. It may feel like this moment of darkness and uncertainty in the world is the darkness of a tomb, an ending of things. And, that's partially correct. We're in a moment that is demanding the end to many systems of oppression that we are tired of suffering and dying from, that we are tired of seeing our people die from. But make no mistake that this is not the darkness of the tomb, family. This is the darkness of the womb, as Valerie Kaur would say. This is us collectively breathing, pushing, and laboring in a new world that we so desperately need and so desperately are fighting for at this very moment. If I've learned anything from graduating from college, it is that our role in this movement towards justice is that we have to keep holding the hope for everyone else that a better world is not only possible, it's coming. We are working on it. We're creating it. We're calling people in and holding people accountable with love. We're writing poems about it. We're stressing about it over Facebook arguments with our family. We're thinking up choreography for it. We're strategizing it into existence, even in the face of a society who tells us we should shut up already. We should keep quiet, that we're too young to know what we're talking about, even when we know that some of these issues have roots that trace back to times before we were even born. A society that tells us we should stop inconveniencing people with our protests and our marches. We should put the camera phone down and just trust those in power. Family, another world is coming, whether it's televised or tweeted or goes viral or not. It's coming because it's going to come from all of you, the indestructible class of 2021. And we have to accept the fact that we all may not be around when it comes, but that we hope that our children will be, and their children will be, and so on. That's what justice means, to actively demand equity, even if it's not for you, even if you'll never know when it arrives, even when you're the loudest person in the room and only one person tells you that they heard what you had to say. It's much bigger than all of us. amidst a world who keeps trying to convince us that we will be fulfilled if we just worried about our own well-being and not each other's. It's exactly what James Baldwin meant when he told Dr. Angela Davis days before her trial back in 1970, "If we know, then we must fight for your life as though it were our own, which it is, and render impassable our bodies the corridor to the gas chamber. For if they take you in the morning, they will be coming for us that night." I hope you always remember how vital you are to not just this moment, but to this movement, and how badly we need for you to help hold hope with the rest of us college alumni that a better world is on its way because we are ushering it into existence, and you are a vital part to that. As you all leave here and freak out about finding a job, just know that yes, it is very hard to find a job and that sometimes we get lucky and land our dream one before even crossing this stage today. But I want to assure you that everything will be okay. This does not go down with you being unemployable. You are about to be a Cal State Monterey Bay alum, and that holds weight out here in these streets, okay? I'll share one last thing before I wrap up this speech. A few years ago, I made the decision to leave my job as a full-time therapist. I had loved my agency and all my clients, but I was in a tough spot with the demands of my clinical work conflicting with my artist schedule. Basically, I didn't have enough PTO to take time off that I needed in order to travel for some of my upcoming poetry shows and projects. It was the scariest feeling, sitting across from my boss trying to figure out a way to tell her that I think I wanted to step out of the way of my own potential and really give this full-time artist life all of my heart, energy, and time. That instead of deciding to give up a poetry feature or two in order to accrue PTO, I want to give up my clinical job instead. I kept worrying about losing my health insurance, the security I felt in my more than generous paycheck, about the predictability of expectations at my therapist job versus the spontaneous nature of being a full-time touring artist whose revenue depends on people supporting the art that I create. For me, it came down to realizing that therapy will always be there. That if I really wanted to apply for another clinical job down the road, then it helps that I have a master's in it and the confidence that I can get one. What I realized a few years ago that took 2 college degrees for me to realize, that took me writing my first poem in my dorm room back in the fall of 2006 to realize, is that poetry was never just a hobby. Poetry was the healing, the cure, and the reason. Poetry isn't about me writing poems as a living, but me using my voice to tell my entire story so that no one ever has to tell it for me ever again. It took up until a few years ago, family, for me to realize that I am more than my productivity and billable hours at my job, and so are you. That I am more than my graduate school student loan debt. That the nature of capitalism and student debt is to shackle us into believing that the further we fall into debt, the further we move away from our responsibilities to this revolutionary moment. That a steady paycheck is wonderful. It's great, actually. But so is following the quietest whisper of my dreams. Graduates, you will find dream jobs, and then you will lose dream jobs, and then keep dream jobs, and then leave dream jobs because your dreams changed because you did too. Whatever you choose to do it in the service of this revolutionary moment. And know that there are alumni who are out here doing it alongside you. I have never felt as close to genuine freedom for our people as I do when I write. College did not teach me that. You taught me that. You are the very reason why I dream of a world where you're leading us to the promise of freedom by modeling the practice of freedom. That's the purpose of your education, y'all. To realize you're free to go get one, and then your job is to free others with it. None of us are free until all of us are free. None of our people are free until Black people are free, until Asian people are free, Pacific Islanders are free, Brown people, Latinx, Indigenous people are free. So let's get free, y'all. Congratulations to the class of 2021. Love y'all so much.
Sonia Ryu Allen, B.A. Cinematic Arts and Technology, cum laude. Anime Lanel Bautista Ballesteros, B.A. Liberal Studies. Janine Gaitan Banderel, B.A. Liberal Studies, magna cum laude. Heather Bayuga, B.S. Biology. Jaspreet Bardwaj, B.S. Business Administration, summa cum laude. Serena Brar, B.A. Liberal Studies, cum laude. Brianna Nicole Cabrera, B.S. Biology. Marina Apolonia Cabanes Castillo, B.A. Cinematic Arts and Technology, magna cum laude. Jillian Castro, B.S. Biology. Sienna E.K. Correa Garcia, B.S. Marine Science, cum laude. Mabel Duran, M.S. Instructional Science and Technology. Nathan Akash Gian, B.S. Biology, cum laude. Alicia Kuhn, B.A. Environmental Science, Tech and Policy. Jennifer T. Lee, B.A. Liberal Studies. Sabrina Lee, B.S. Kinesiology, cum laude. Tony Lee, M.B.A., Master of Business Administration, magna cum laude. Mandy Loam, M.B.A., Business Administration. Eileen Margaret Lewis, B.A., Global Studies. Jaya Limbag, B.A., Human Development and Family Science. Michaela Ann Littlefield, B.A., Psychology. Ramon Lucindo, B.S., Computer Science, cum laude. Tristan Julius Siakson Mar, B.A., Cinematic Arts and Technology, cum laude. Kahar S. McCullum, B.A., Social and Behavioral Sciences, summa cum laude. Daphne Mendoza, B.A., Social and Behavioral Sciences. Rachel Marin Nakamoto, B.S., Marine Science, cum laude. Kaido Hiro Okamoto Garson, B.A., Psychology, cum laude. Reggie Luz Ong, B.S., Nursing. Marianne Jasmine Flores Osorio, B.S., Nursing, cum laude. Armando Pilachetta, M.B.A., Master of Business Administration. Kristen Rebozi, BA, Cinematic Arts and Technology. Alexia Elena Reffel, BA, Cinematic Arts and Technology, cum laude. Hector Joseph Rubio III, BS, Business Administration. Tiffany Elise Katsuko Leilani Shigenaka Juarez, BS, Marine Science. Gretchen Humawan Swan, BS, Marine Science, cum laude. Skylar Tao, BS, Human Development and Family Science. Cassandra Tice, BS, Biology. Huang Stephanie Min Tran, BS, Mathematics. Tori Yuri Wood, BS, Kinesiology, summa cum laude. Jasmine Bao Yang, BA, Liberal Studies. Angelo Yap, BS, Business Administration.